All right, perfect. We are now officially recording. Good morning, guys. It is Thursday, I think November 12th. I don't know how we made it through this year, but we have made it through the year. We're almost done with the year. However, let's talk about how good this year has been. So for those of you who take notes about like how we're progressing, I've got a couple things to share with you. Specifically, big things are happening in Texas. There's a few records being hit, and I want you to know about them. Number one, let's start with I'm gonna go ahead and mute some people that came on just real quick so that we can, not have that background noise. Okay, so a couple big things happening in Texas. Number one, let's start with our talented agents. We are now at a record of 71 agents in Texas within our Bankini, Jordan Davis groups. 71 agents. So every time you're going on buyer appointments, listing appointments, like know that you are backed by not just nationally, but regionally, a really freaking big, huge group. Those agents right now have $56 million pending. $56 million in volume pending. You guys, that's a record. You guys right now have $39 million in listings. $39 million in listings. That's another record. Closed units, 770 closed units for the year. Guys, that's like 200 something units more than last year. And like the year is not over. So 770 closed units, that's another record. Your gross commission income, $6.1 million in gross commission income. That's called revenue. And we're a 50% company for most of our agents. So that is like $3 million being made by our agents. There's no other company that has so many top producers in their teams. That's exciting. And then the last one I want to share with you is another record. You guys have closed $230 million in sales this year alone in the first 10 months of the year. $230 million. That's a lot of freaking money. A lot of families helped. And I wanted you guys to know the records that you are breaking. So as we're getting into the holiday spirit, and thank God, because we kind of need something good to be happening. We've got Thanksgiving and Christmas coming up. And if you guys were on here earlier, you would have heard like the banter between Jen and I, and we were talking about, gosh, things are like, the elections got everybody all like worked up, the holidays, people are like trying to slow down with that. And I mean, our clients. And today I'm really excited about just talking about some scripts and some strategies for our end of year focus, you guys. There is still 14% of the year left. Like it feels like it's the end of the year, and it is, but it's also 14% of the year left. So you just want to make sure that you are aware that you've got so much opportunity to build your pipelines now and to serve our communities. And today we've got a few people. We've got Jordan from DFW who's going to share with us. We've got Alicia from San Antonio. We've got Jonathan and Maria from Austin. And I just want you to see what they're doing as the holidays are approaching. So my goal for you isn't to take everything somebody says. My goal for you is take something that Jordan says and make that script better, right? Or take something that Maria says, or Alicia, or Jonathan. And the reality is we have 71 people in our organization here in Texas. You guys already work hard. Like, I know that. We all know that. You guys already care about your business and you care about your clients. And you guys are already smart. So all we're doing in these Texas Power Ups is just turning a few dials on that technique so that you can have bigger results. So let me see where Jordan's at on my screen. The beautiful blonde. Let me find you, Jordan. Or maybe you can speak up and I'll find you faster, potentially.
Sorry, had to get off on mute.
Oh, there you are. Okay, I am
Hi.
so right. Your hair looks so good. Goals, hair goals, right there. Okay, so Jordan, Jordan, like probably like a few weeks ago, you started like sharing holiday scripts, and I was like, oh my god! As soon like as the holidays hit, and I keep hearing about holidays, Jordan's got to be the first person to talk to us. So what are some of your holiday scripts? Like, what are you saying to people? What are you coaching your agents to say? What does that sound like?
Well, the ratio to buyers to sellers during the holidays is the same. So are more sellers on the market during the summer? Absolutely. But you have higher competition from a buyer standpoint. And so that's another reason that you may not want to wait and keep your eye out. Also, sellers tend to be more serious. So if you're talking to a buyer, I want to tell them that sellers are more serious and they're more likely to take, they're not just out there fishing to see if they can get an offer. And so they're going to do the repairs that we ask. We may not be in multiple offers. If I'm talking to a seller, I'm going to let them know buyers are more serious. There's a lot of distractions with the holidays. And so if a buyer's out there, it's because they really want to buy a home or need to buy a home. They've been relocated, et cetera. Although we tend to think of seasonality as summertime, there's a lot in the way of corporate relocations, people now realizing, are probably getting notified that they're not going back to work in 2021, that they'll be working from home again. Well, I probably don't need to live downtown if I'm not going to be walking to work. I would really rather be somewhere with a little more space if I'm going to be at home for the next year. And so we're still having those types of conversations. And those are all great things to bring up is anytime you've had that conversation. Hey, I was just talking to a buyer the other day and they were saying that, they've been renting in downtown Fort Worth and they are actually planning on moving out to the suburbs because they'd rather have more space. They don't have to walk to work every day anymore due to COVID. So there's a lot you can bring up in that. But additionally, you and I had talked about the cost of waiting. And with low interest rates, BK Co Mortgage just came out with theirs and it was 2.25 on a 15-year. That's insane. And so when you look at that, when I bought my house almost 2 years ago, about 20 months ago, I locked in, I think 4.75. That's 2.5%, or let's say 2.75 because that's a 30-year. That's 2% difference in interest rate. Well, a 1% increase in interest rate is a 10% increase in your monthly payment. So for us, that is $3,000 a month, goes up $300 a month. That's $3,600 a year. And if somebody will do math on their calculator for me, what is 3,600 times a 30-year note?
Ooh. Wow. Over 100,000.
Over 100,000 for a 1% increase in interest rate. We secured in a 2% increase. We just locked in like around 2.75. So we saved $200,000 over the life of the loan on around $400,000 loan. That's significant savings, and that's the cost of waiting. So if we wait until the election settles, we know that interest rates must go up. It's inevitable, and they're not going to get lower than this. They were artificially held down because of the election and because of COVID. They may be held at this level for 3-6 more months. We don't know. But what we do know is they can't stay at this level. And that's the important thing to know. If you wait, you'll pay $200,000 more for that house.
Did everybody get that? How she got to that number, right? Like she's taken the whole course of a 30-year loan, right? And you're essentially paying like on a regular home, 100,000 more per 1% interest rate. Like nobody would want to do that. Nobody in their right mind wants to do that. And it's our job to take it down to like how Jordan said. Maybe say it one more time for those of us who are like, whoa, this is good.
I know I talk fast. I'm sorry.
No, I love it.
So yeah, when it comes to, if I were having a consultation, I would let them know that just about 2 years ago, 20 months ago, I locked in 4.75 on my own home. And right now I'm refinancing for 2.75, and a 1% increase in interest rate is a 10% increase in your monthly payment. So for us, it's $3,000 a month is our mortgage. And that means that it goes up $300 a month times 12 months times 30 years. So $3,600 a year is over $100,000 over the life of my loan if I pay it out over 30 years. Now, that was a 1% increase. I said that we had a 2% difference on a $400,000 home. By taking advantage of the interest rates right now, we will save $200,000 on a $400,000 loan.
Okay. I mean, we could just get off Power Up right now if we wanted to. You got it. Really, really good. Just highlighting sellers are more serious, buyers are more serious, and have your bullet points for each, guys. That was really stinking good. Very, very good. And corporate relocations. Remember, like, this is the times that they're making those decisions. If your client's not on the market, they're not going to get their house under contract by somebody who's probably a very strong buyer. Corporate relocations are strong people.
Well, and if you're concerned about the election, I mean, we're in the most conservative state. So if you're looking at, how our business is going to look at the election and changes, in that regard, you want to talk to them about, Texas is always going to be conservative and businesses will always be moving here. And so we know that our inventory remains strong, and home values remain strong. So it's both great for the buyer and the seller. Additionally, if we believe that, political parties aside, how you feel with the Democrat in office, it tends to be less beneficial for investors or companies. And so you may have investors that you want to talk to. I think Jen was saying something about the election. And so I predict that we will have more investors who liquidate their home before tax laws change. And if that's the case, if I'm a seller, I want to get on the market before then. Right. And so I predict, and if I'm talking to a seller, if I had a pool of investors, which we do, I would be talking to them about, if you're thinking about liquidating in the next 2 years, let's go ahead and do it.
Awesome. Awesome. Jordan, you're the best. Let's adjust. Let's go to a different direction. I want to go to Alicia really quick. And by really quick, I mean, I'm going to be quick. You don't have to be nearly as quick, Alicia. Let's talk about, in the last 60 days, you have signed 6 clients from For Sale by Owners, 4 of them listings, 2 of them buyers, 2 of them are closing this month. The reason I want to talk to you is because last year you took 0 from For Sale by Owners. This year until September, you took 0 from For Sale by Owners. What the heck changed?
BKT Nation changed. So a little background, when I started in the Midland Market Center, I sold 19 units in Midland. 11 of them were listings. 6 of those 11 units were For Sale by Owners. And so For Sale by Owners aren't new to me. And it was 31% of my business. Well, I got here in San Antonio and it was a different ballgame. I'm in the city now. I'm not in small town USA. And people are mean out here. I was getting death threats. I mean, I had to block people. They were mean and I would cry every day. And I was like, screw this. I'm not dealing with these people anymore. And so I just kind of gave up on them. I was like, I'll find a different niche. I don't need these people. Well, Ann, Jason, and Jordan got on with BKT Nation and talked about For Sale by Owners. And Jason, I think, gets 30% of business from For Sale by Owners every year. And Jordan had mentioned she needed to fill her pipeline for her buyer's agents. She didn't have enough listings. So what did she do? She started prospecting For Sale by Owners. And I was like, what am I doing? 30% of my business from Midland came from For Sale by Owners. And just because it wasn't working here doesn't mean it's not going to work. Just means I need to change what I'm doing. And so I evaluated what I was doing in Midland, which follow up in Midland probably was every 5 days to a week. That's too slow here in the city, or in San Antonio specifically. So I really changed my script a little bit. I started following up religiously every 2 to 3 days. And that's when I've noticed that I'm converting at a higher level.
What types of things do you say? Like, I know like everybody's waiting for the magic sauce and the secret sauce. There's probably not, by the way, right? It's consistency is going to be the magic sauce. But for those of us, like just give us a glimpse of what you would say like to a typical person.
Yeah. So if I'm calling you, it's ring ring.
Hello?
Hey, is this the owner of 123 Main Street?
Yeah, are you a realtor?
I am. I was just calling. I saw your property on Zillow and I was just curious if it was still available or if you guys already got it under contract.
No, we're still selling it.
Okay, awesome. And just curious, how long do you guys plan to market it on Zillow before interviewing agents to market and sell your home for top dollar?
Well, I mean, I think we're gonna sell it ourselves. Like I had a sister who did that before.
Okay. Any particular reason you're hesitant to work with a listing agent?
I just don't want to pay 6%.
Gotcha. Are you cooperating with buyer's agents though? The 3% for the buyer's agent?
Yeah, probably. I mean, if somebody brings me a full price offer, yeah.
Okay. So what I'm hearing, you're willing to work with the buyer's agents and you're wanting to stay for sell by owner simply to net the most amount of money on the sale of your home. Is that right?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, awesome. Well, if I told you that I could actually net you more money even after paying the buyer's agent fee and our marketing fees, would that be worth sitting down 30 minutes and seeing if we'd be a good option for each other?
I mean, I don't think I'm ready to right now.
Okay. What's the hesitation?
I mean, I think I'm just gonna be able to sell it myself.
Gotcha. And then I would probably switch into more motivating questions. Well, what's your plan once you sell? And then tie it in. But all in all, it's really knowing your objection handlers, but starting out and, go straight to it. I, for a while, was starting out. Maybe I could preview the home and get my foot in the door. And then I was setting myself up as a buyer's agent. And so they weren't seeing me as a listing agent. And so even if they ask me, do you have a buyer for my home? I actually might, I wouldn't know until I see your home in person. But the reason for my call is I specialize in helping people sell their home if they're unsuccessful the first time around with another agent or on their own. I want to help you. And so you have to really set yourself up as a listing agent, not a buyer's agent.
Got it. Got it. And where are you finding these for sale by owners? Elizabeth Gassos is asking.
So I I have the Zillow app on my phone. And I only have the Zillow app for this reason. And I've marked out the areas that I want those for sell by owners. I've set myself up on a listing alert essentially. And I started out with any price range, but now I'm catering. I think I've bumped it up to 200 plus because I need to work on my average sales price. But I get an alert anytime that a new for sale by owner hits the market. And then I was going on the Zillow website and pulling their phone number. Zillow's getting really, really good at hiding those numbers. So I'm having to do a little more digging and either Spokio, Fast People Search, and find their numbers that way.
Got it. Copy that. Copy that. Awesome. I'm going to move on to Jonathan for the sake of time, real quick. Jonathan, I've got you on here because unlike Alicia, you are a brand spanking new agent as of May 18th this year. And you have the for sale by owner perspective from a brand new agent type of mindset. You've taken 2 sellers in the last 30 days, one at 515, one at 750, both of them for sale by owners. One closed this week and another one is closing in 2 weeks. So, like, what gave you the confidence to do this? Did you have the confidence, I guess? And how has that been working for you? Like, what would you tell us?
Sure. Yeah, I guess confidence being built, right? So, but it's the first step is just to pick up the phone and give them a call. And just like Alicia walked through and just say, hey, how's it going? How long are you wanting to do this on your own? The first one that was a contractor, was a for sale by owner. He's like, oh, no, I'm fine. I'm saying, okay, well, what if I host an open house for you? And he's like, oh, an open house. I'm like, okay. So I hosted an open house and, kind of contrary to what Alicia said, it was where, you know, I was positioning myself as a buyer's agent, which I didn't want to be. But once I got in front of him, I was able to kind of talk about how, listen, if you're not on Zillow, you're not saying you're going to pay 3% buyer's agent fee. So that's already kind of a negative, right? That agents aren't going to bring their buyers your way. So essentially you're going to have to pay that 3%. And then you just transition into the whole net sheet conversation. Like, listen, what if I can show you that even after the 3% and our marketing fee, we can still net you more money? And as soon as like you start, I mean, because they're all about numbers, right? It's all about what's going to make them the most money. And so that's kind of part of it, is just digging into showing them that they can still make more money even after using a listing agent. And then the big thing for both of them, that I saw was the reach, right? Because they, for sale by owners, like, well, just bring me a buyer. And it's like, okay, there's a good chance that I have a buyer in my network or my team's network, right? But there's even a better chance that the 12,000 other real estate agents in Austin, they're going to have multiple buyers in their databases, and we want to access that. Like, we want to tap into that, so that we can pull in as many potential buyers as possible. And that's like on this last one, we had multiple offers all over asking price, multiple cash offers, over 750,000. So it just really allowed us to tap into that network. And so they're making way more money than they ever would have as a for sale by owner.
So what I hear is that you're not really beating around the bush. You're very respectful, very professional, and direct.
Mm-hmm.
Would that be accurate?
Yeah, absolutely. And it's actually kind of been funny. Both times I actually had the listing appointments with them, where we actually sat down and went through a listing presentation and talked about like our value proposition as a team. Their phones are getting blown up. I mean, the first guy, I met with him twice. Every 10 minutes, he was getting called by an agent, a Keller Williams agent, or by a buyer. And I said, so how's it been? He's like, look at my phone. And he's got, I wouldn't say hundreds, but lots of calls. People are calling, but they're not actually willing to commit because they're, they don't really want to work with a for sale by owner. And then the other thing too is just what our value as a, licensed, experienced agent to handle the negotiations. That kind of removes them from the whole process. And they really like that, because they're most likely, if they've been on for sale by owner for a couple of weeks, they're over it. They're tired of having to show up to the house to go show it to 10 different buyers a day. They're tired. And so they're just like, you know what, you just handle it, whatever, it's worth it to me.
Is there anything you would say to newer agents who maybe haven't built the confidence yet to call for sell by owners, or to do some of this prospecting? It sounds scary. What coaching would you give based on your experience?
I mean, just know your listing presentation. Like so much of what like I talk about with, and I'm going to say, I think I was in the right place at the right time. I called the right. I mean, so there's always a stroke of luck and everything. But just know your listing presentation and the value proposition that the team has, right? Because on my own, I can be a good agent, but with all of you behind me, with Ben Kinney and our BK Co Mortgage and all that stuff, if you're able to really talk about that, and how, especially like when we're negotiating, it's not just me, it's my sales manager, it's my team leader, Adelina. It's, so when you start building out the whole team network behind you, they're like, oh, okay. So that would be my recommendation as a new agent.
I love that. Awesome. Okay, so we've done the scripts route. We've talked about for sale by owners and how they're out there right now during this holiday season, and they need our help more than ever. I want to move to Maria, and let's wrap up with Maria. Maria, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay, awesome. Maria, for the last few years, you've done something that's been really cool. Every November and December, you do something special. What is that?
So it's not quite that special, but it's just a very focused goal around open houses. So for the past few years, right around November, like right before the holidays hit, Thanksgiving, New Year's, Christmas, I've done a big push for open houses. So this year, for example, which is pretty much the same thing I've done the past few years, is between November 1st and December 20th, before the holidays, Ashley and I are doing a very focused goal around open houses. So this year it's 30. And with that, it's the goal of adding 65 nurtures and setting 15 appointments from those. And so during the holidays, you know, things are slowing down a little bit. We're ramping up for next year. And actually, if you're in Texas, which we all are, it's actually a lot nicer weather to be putting out signs. You know, you don't have to be sweating and getting your signs up during the summer. And people have a little more time off as well. You know, during the holidays, people are at home, they have time off work. So it's a really great time to hit that lead gen lever a lot harder. My results before, so as an example, the last one I did.
Can I just interrupt for a second? Because what I hear you saying, Maria, is the holidays are a great time because people are off work, and other people have the mindset that the holidays are a bad time because people are distracted. And that is 100% your mindset.
Right. Yeah. And there's a lot more objections to overcome. You're right. You know, people,
but your mindset is right. Like, they're just available. They're free for me. Like, they're ready to go. They're waiting on me. Like, that's all about your mindset and what our mindsets are. And I appreciate that so much about you.
Thank you. Yeah. And, you know, it really is though. People, they're trickling in during the open houses. It's a great time. And so my results before, the last one I did, the goal was to do 50 open houses, which was a bit aggressive. 30, I think, is reasonable because, I mean, between Ashley and I, like if you're a single agent, you know, maybe 20, I think it would be a good goal. But with 30, we're doing, you know, about three a week, 3 a weekend. So it's really not that high. It's a little bit more than what you might be doing already. Or if you're not doing open houses, it's adding that, you know, regularly it's adding quite a bit of nurtures to your database for 2021. So the goal last time was 50 open houses, add 100 nurtures. We didn't quite hit that. We did 32 open houses and added 39 nurtures to the database. And that resulted in, I looked through the next following year to see what closings I had from those open houses. And I had, let's see, it was 3 closings and a referral. So one was a listing, actually. No, sorry, 4 closings because I had a listing and a referral. I had a buyer that was a really good price point that ended up referring me another buyer later. So that's 2. And then another really nice couple I helped. So that equated to $46,000 in GCI the next year. From just those open houses for that 6-week period. And so that's about $23,000 after splits for most of us. And so I continued doing it because you think about it, a lot of our goals, especially the newer agents, is just hit that 100,000, you know, 100,000 GCI. Everyone wants to get 6 figures. And so that alone, just that 6 weeks equated to about a quarter of that goal for next year. So you're really front loading the year and setting yourself up to have a nice next following couple of months with all those nurtures. Some of the challenges can be finding good areas to do open houses, especially when homes sell so quickly right now. You really only have 1 or 2 weekends on the market. So I'll start looking on Wednesdays, partner with some of the bigger teams. Of course, we have our own team which has listings, and that's great. I'm partnering with a couple other big teams in the market center who are doing a ton of open houses and really giving good service to those teams, like making sure you're easy to work with, giving great feedback, and that way they keep you on their list for additional open houses. Like Ashley and I have a couple teams that always are just asking us to do, you know, we'll be able to reach out to them, and they have a whole team of people that they may have a couple open houses. Let's see. Really getting good at some of those holiday objections, just like Jordan had. Those are really great objection handlers. So I'm sure everyone wrote those down. Brushing up on those to have talking points at the open houses is a great way to convert. You have interest rates, of course, less competition. The other things I would say for pointers are choose ones with easier signage, like just at the close to intersections. So that way you can put up just 10 or 15 open houses in those areas and get really great traffic and not have to be driving all over town, putting up open houses and leading people there. And then also picking partners on the team to team up to do those open houses with, so that one person puts them up, the other person picks up the open house signs. That way you're not burning yourself out just driving all around putting up open house signs everywhere.
And when you say that, Maria, are you saying like somebody does it like maybe 11 to 1 and somebody does it from 1 to 3? Is that the sort of thing?
Yeah.
Yeah, I wanted to make sure people didn't think that you were both doing the open house at the same time.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
No. Those are all your leads. You don't have to fight someone at the open house for leads. What else? So the signage too, that really helps with my mindset around those is that's how you get your listing leads. If you put up a ton of signs, people are going to see it in the neighborhood. They're going to come to the open house and just think about how great you are, prepared you are, how much work you put into this open house. And probably my last pointer would be, aside from having the mindset to set appointments, of course, that's why we added in nurture and open house or nurture and appointment goals with the open house goal, is making sure you add your leads right away. Like there's times I've looked back at several pages of open house leads that I just forgot about or didn't do anything with. And a lot of us are using the Brivity open house sign-in, which is great. If you aren't and you're using paper, just make sure you get them in right away and send them a text, set them up on the e-alert, and set a follow-up task for Monday or Tuesday to make sure they're liking the emails. If you didn't get an appointment at the open house, try to set the appointment during the first few days of the week, because they may have been to several open houses and talked to several agents.
What does your initial text say?
Yeah, the text right away would be something like, hey, thank you for coming to my open house. Add your contact information in there. So first, thanking them. Second, giving them your contact information to save. And third, making sure they know that they can text you if they're driving around and see any other houses that they want to see that don't have open houses. That way they have one go-to source, just positioning yourself as their resource and assuming you're going to be their buyer's agent so that they can just text you if they see anything while they're driving around and hopefully schedule a showing with you.
Perfect. I want to make sure everybody understood. Front loading, 6 weeks of focused effort front loads an entire year. Like if your goal is $100,000 of net income, well, that's a real great way of getting a quarter of your entire income as a result of 6 weeks of focused effort. That's amazing. I really wanted to make sure that everybody heard that. And I also want to end on this. Maria, you're not a brand new agent, are you?
No.
Okay, so Maria, who's not a brand new agent, is taking advantage of open houses, right? When Ben has like the business model, right? We have the different ways to generate business, proven ways, right? There's a million ways to get business, proven ways that are scalable: prospecting, sphere, team leads, open houses, et cetera, right? Like open houses are a really, really great way. And sometimes people stop doing them once they're successful. And yet, I love that Maria focuses November and December whenever, like a lot of agents stop doing them. Like she's stealing all these buyers from everybody else who's not doing them. And I love that. I love the fact that it's very strategic. And there's a plan around it and there's goals around it. Like, my goal is to do 30 open houses, to get 65 nurtures, to get 15 appointments. Boom, done. Like set your goals for what you want. Set your goals around for sale by owners. Set your goals around open houses. Set your goals around team leads. Like just be focused this last 14% of the year, because it will pay dividends in the next year. All right. Thank you guys so much for being on here today. I'm going to let you guys go so you can have the rest of your day to do what you need to do. And you guys are always amazing. Can't wait to see you next week. And then we have Thanksgiving week coming up, and that'll be very fun and exciting. So you guys have a great one, and we will see you later.
Thanks, Adelina.
Bye, guys.
Thank you.